first step you took to open up your business?
The first step that I took to open up my first restaurant was I went to the internet and I Googled everything you need to open up a restaurant, and I made a list of everything that was on that list from that I saw on the internet, and scaled it down to what can I afford off this list, and set up a realistic financial expectation for me acquiring these different items and this much capital in a time frame, a deadline for each one of these things to happen.
All that shit you just said, I think gets us in trouble. Remember that they had an incubator project one time? We need to have more incubator projects. We need real live people who have been there, and has the experience to sit down and mentor an individual, like an apprenticeship.
Right.
Like we talked about before, just because you have a great idea, just because you may be good at doing something, has nothing to do with you opening a business.
Correct.
And I think that hopefully one day we will evolve to the fact that we can create an incubator where individuals can come and be tutored and mentored in being successful and launching their business, because we launch a lot of businesses off of hopes and prayers versus being able to be stable enough to engage in the game and know when we kick off, we can operate for 3 years.
Right.
All right. The majority of us, we operate off, I'm gonna kick this ball off. If I'm not successful in 6 months to 12 months, I gotta close my doors.
Well, and that's where someone like me and you comes into play, where you kick the ball off and you realize that you don't know everything that you thought you know. But instead of having to close your doors, maybe it's time that you bring in some outside help, that you bring in some knowledge, that you will.
But even before you bring it out, that's why we need an incubator. Before you start off, we should have a team to help and oversee you through your first 3 years of operation. You know, you need that team to sit down with you on a bi-weekly, monthly, and just coach you through the process. And this is not just running the business. This is acquiring the assets needed, acquiring the finances needed. Because damn, man, the capital that you need to kick it off, you're in such a freaking hole to begin with that you really may want to reconsider starting a business.
And one of the things that I did do when I launched my first project is that I didn't have an incubator, but I had enough knowledge and wisdom to know that I didn't know everything that I needed to know. And I probably was beyond my thought process or outside of most.
But everybody don't have the infinite wisdom that you do.
But I brought in a board of directors.
See, there you go. All right.
And the board of directors were local leaders older than me that had experience in business. And we did exactly what you said.
But that's a unique situation.
Right.
I'm just talking about overall. Let's always remove ourselves from the tunnel, but understand from a global aspect, the average person don't have that.
Right.
You know how I started my first business? Guess. Guess how I started my first business. Just anywhere, I guess. Just guess.
You fell into it.
Fell into it. Hell no. I went to the bankruptcy court.
Mm-hmm.
Honest to God, true. It's a real true story. All right. It needed to be a movie. My company that I was working with got shut down by the federal government. The FBI and task force came in like they do on TV, locked all the doors, told everybody, get your stuff, get out. That kind of real movie stuff. In the process of them shutting us down, we had assets of outlying businesses that they had to sell off for the debts of the company.
Mm-hmm.
So I went down to the federal building, to the bankruptcy court, and I was listening to them go through the process, just really being nosy about what really happened, that these people just put me out of a job. You know, how can I get something out of it? They were selling the assets off, and I just went up to the judge. I guarantee you there's 50 attorneys in this building. I said, listen, can I talk to the judge? He said, yeah. I said, look, Judge, this building is in a predominantly black neighborhood, and if you leave this building empty, they're gonna tear it up and you're not gonna have nothing. Let me continue to operate it. He gave me a temporary stay while they try to figure things out, told me to come back in, I think, 3 months. I came back in 3 months. I knew nothing about a printing company. I didn't know what a press was. I barely knew how to put paper on a copy machine and print it. They gave me the printing company. I went back. 3 months later, they said, what would you like to offer the court? I had no clue. I said, I give you $30,000. There was no amortization. I ain't no evaluation. I said, I just give you that $30,000. Sound like a good number to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, it sounded like a good number to them too. They put it into the paper. All right, I didn't have a freaking dime. So I heard left the building because I don't have no money to write you. No, they didn't hit me back for over a year before they started coming to me about, okay, we're going to accept this $30,000 and start paying it. So that's how I started my first business.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know a damn thing about printing. One thing that I'm very confident in, you don't have to know. It's great to be passionate about something. It's great to know the workings of it. But you know how they took the founders of Wendy's
Mm-hmm.
and took him to the Chrysler or General Motors? His concept, his knowledge transferred from Wendy's to a car dealership manufacturing cars.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got started in it.
My first business ownership, legitimate business ownership, got started. I was the front of the house manager for Bennigan's. Fresh out of college, first real corporate management job. And they fired the cleaning crew. And we're in our general manager's weekly meeting with the general manager, and he was like, we gotta find a new cleaning crew. I just fired him. And so I'm sitting there taking notes, and it's like, I need y'all to start calling around and getting some cleaning quotes on cleaning services. This is how much we can pay. And I just said, we literally paying $2,000 a month for somebody to come in and clean the restaurant after we close. And he's like, yeah. I said, I'll do it. I close every night. I have to close the manager. I said, I'll come in my 2 nights off a week and clean. He said, you can do it until we find somebody. So I did it for a month. The area manager came in and was so impressed with the cleaning of the building. He was like, whoever you got cleaning, I want you to keep doing it. So I had been cleaning for a month, so now it's time to get paid. I had to start a business so they could cut me a check. They couldn't just cut Thetis Allen a check. They had to cut Thetis Allen business owner that I came up with a check for cleaning for the month. So that's how I got into my first legitimate entrepreneurship.
But once it gets into your blood,
It's in there.
let me tell you something. That's the dangerous exposure fair.
And as me and you talked about recently, it's not about the money.
It's not about the money.
It's about creating something and sitting back
And making
and
it work.
actually visualizing it happen. The vision that you had sitting back on a Friday night and watching your staff execute, and the customers are happy with the product that's worth any dollar amount.
I've been blessed, but no job I've held has given me the gratification. And I received less money in those moments of gratification than I did making money working for somebody.